Welcome to our channel. Tonight, we're diving deep into one of the world's most dangerous flashpoints, a crisis that could reshape global power and affect millions of lives. The Philippines, China, and the United States are locked in a high-stakes confrontation in the South China Sea. Recent incidents involving water cannons, blocked supply missions, and now U.S. warships rushing to the scene have brought this region to the brink of something far more serious. This isn't just about distant waters. Over $3 trillion in trade passes through here annually. For Filipino fishermen, these are their ancestral fishing grounds. For global powers, it's a test of international law itself. The arrival of American warships has transformed this from a regional dispute into a potential superpower confrontation. We'll break down exactly what's happening, why it matters, and what comes next. To understand this crisis, you need to grasp what makes the South China Sea so valuable. This is one of the world's most critical maritime highways. 1/3 of global shipping, worth trillions of dollars, flows through these waters every year. Beneath the waves lie vast, untapped reserves of oil and natural gas, making control of these waters even more valuable. 6 nations claim overlapping territories here, but the current crisis centers on 2 main players. China claims nearly 90% of the sea through its 9-dash line, a sweeping assertion that conflicts directly with international maritime law and neighboring countries' exclusive economic zones. The Philippines bases its position on UNCLOS, the international treaty that China itself has signed, which grants coastal states a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. The current crisis centers on Ayungin Shoal, known internationally as Second Thomas Shoal. This submerged reef lies 105 nautical miles from the Philippines, well within their exclusive economic zone. Since 1999, Filipino Marines have maintained a presence here aboard this deliberately grounded World War II vessel, the BRP Sierra Madre. It's a symbol of sovereignty in contested waters. The conflict has intensified around regular supply missions to these Marines, who depend on deliveries of food, water, and medical supplies. On August 5, 2025, this routine humanitarian mission became an international incident. Chinese Coast Guard vessels unleashed powerful water cannons on Philippine supply boats. The incident, captured on video and widely circulated, showed the escalating aggression in what Manila calls a routine humanitarian operation. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. declared that the Philippines would not be deterred and would continue defending its sovereign rights. This was the tipping point that convinced both Manila and Washington that stronger action was necessary. The U.S. response wasn't made in a vacuum. America and the Philippines are bound by the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, which commits each nation to defend the other against armed attack. The deployment of the USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group, announced August 12, sends an unmistakable message to Beijing. The U.S. will back up its treaty commitments with military force. The presence of an aircraft carrier with its fleet of destroyers, cruisers, and fighter jets is a powerful deterrent designed to make the costs of further Chinese aggression unacceptably high. Beyond treaty obligations, the U.S. has broader strategic interests. These waters carry a huge portion of global trade, and America insists on the right of all nations to sail wherever international law allows. Pentagon officials emphasize the goal isn't to seek conflict, but to prevent it through deterrence, making clear that further aggression will face serious consequences. It's a calculated move in a high-stakes geopolitical chess game designed to restore stability while upholding the established rules-based international order. The Philippines' position rests on solid legal ground. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague delivered a landmark ruling overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines. The tribunal concluded that China's historical claims had no legal basis under UNCLOS, affirming that areas like Ayungin Shoal and Scarborough Shoal are within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. For Manila, this ruling is legally binding and provides the ultimate justification for defending their maritime rights. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Philippines has adopted a more assertive strategy, a significant shift from the previous administration's approach of downplaying disputes for economic cooperation. The current government actively publicizes Chinese aggression, releasing videos and detailed reports of every incident to rally domestic and international support. Manila has strengthened alliances, expanding the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement to grant U.S. forces access to strategic Philippine military bases near the South China Sea. China's position is rooted in a completely different framework, one that prioritizes historical claims over the UNCLOS ruling. Beijing maintains it has indisputable sovereignty based on ancient maps and historical records. From Beijing's perspective, it's not expanding territory, it's reclaiming what has always been its own. Chinese officials consistently reject the 2016 arbitral ruling as illegal and void. China frames its actions as legitimate law enforcement, with Coast Guard vessels carrying out their duty to safeguard China's sovereignty and maritime rights. Chinese state media portrays the U.S. as an external agitator, using the Philippines as a pawn in its larger geopolitical strategy to contain China's rise. Beijing calls on regional countries to resolve disputes among themselves without involvement of non-claimant states, casting China as a defender of regional stability. This fundamental disagreement, China's historical narrative versus international law, represents a clash between ancient claims and modern legal frameworks that lies at the heart of this crisis. Away from high-level diplomacy and naval maneuvers, this conflict has a profound human cost. For thousands of Filipino fishermen, the West Philippine Sea isn't a geopolitical chessboard, it's their livelihood. For generations, they've sailed to traditional fishing grounds like Scarborough Shoal, known locally as Panatag Shoal. These areas, rich with fish, are now often inaccessible. Reports are filled with accounts of being chased away by Chinese Coast Guard ships, having their nets cut or their catch confiscated, devastating economic consequences for families who once made a decent living. The fear of harassment is constant. Fishermen now worry not just about weather, but about potential encounters with far larger and more intimidating Chinese vessels. The Philippine Coast Guard has responded by escorting fishing fleets and providing security, but their resources are stretched thin against the vast expanse of contested waters. This has fostered resilience and defiance among local communities. Fishermen's associations have become vocal advocates, participating in protests and demanding stronger government action. Their small wooden boats serve as symbols of national sovereignty. The escalating tensions carry implications far beyond the region. Any disruption to commerce could send shockwaves through international supply chains, leading to delays, increased costs, and higher prices worldwide. This conflict is a crucial test for the international rules-based order. If China succeeds in enforcing expansive claims through coercion, it could set a dangerous precedent for other powerful nations. For Southeast Asia, the stakes are existential. ASEAN faces immense pressure on its unity, with some members having close economic ties to China, while others face direct maritime pressure. The path forward requires firm deterrence, open dialogue channels, and continued international pressure for peaceful resolution. But this isn't just a job for governments. Don't just like and subscribe. Become part of the story. We want to build a community of informed citizens who understand these stakes. In the comments below, tell us, what piece of this complex puzzle do you think is most critical? Let's analyze this together. Your engagement helps ensure these important stories reach more people who need to understand what's happening in our interconnected world.